Good afternoon. May I please have a motion to call the 2024-2025 organizational and regular business meeting of the Webster Board of Education to order?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Please join me in the pledge. Flag is back
Right
here.
here.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we move into the 2024 organizational meeting. And at this time, I'm pleased to administer the oath to our newly elected members, Jeffrey McCaffrey, Jeff, Michele. Will you please stand and raise your hand? We can just do it right here. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of board member of Webster Board of Education according to the best of your ability? Thank you. Congratulations. There's an oath. And if you can just sign the oath that's on there, and then just leave it right there. I'll grab it after the meeting. Okay. So, the first order of business is the election of the board officers. I will now take nominations for president of the board for the 2024-25 school year.
I nominate Janice Richardson.
A second? And is there any discussion? Any other nominations or discussion? Okay. Now we'll do a roll call vote. Michele? Yes. Maria? Carole? Janice?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
And Jeff?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Now we'll administer the oath to the president. We'll just go from here.
Yep, that's fine.
Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the President, Webster Board of Education, according to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do.
Congratulations. Okay, so now the next thing will be the nominations for Vice President of the Board of Education.
I would nominate Linda Dioguardi.
And a second. And is there any discussion, further nominations? No? Okay, then we'll do a roll call vote. Same thing. Michele?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Carole?
Yes.
Janice?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Vice President, Webster Board of Webster Board of Education, according to the best of your ability?
You will.
Congratulations. It is my great pleasure.
I know, and I hate this thing. Oh, thank you.
That's great.
Do you have the oath for Brian and yourself?
I do.
Thank you. All right, so thank you. I'll make it those.
You first or Brian? That's okay. Oh, thank you. Yep. That's all right. It's all right. All right, so I can go ahead and do Brian now, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. Neenan. All right. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Superintendent of Schools for Webster Central School District according to the best of your ability?
I will.
And Heather. Yep. All right, Heather. Do you solemnly and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of District Clerk for Webster Central School District according to the best of your ability. I will. Thank you.
All right. Now we can move into the business portion. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda for this evening? So moved, Maria. Second, Linda. All in favor? Aye. All right. That takes us into the organizational meeting where we will vote in chunks here. So we're going to start with section 4 and 5. This is the district appointments and district designations. Can I have a motion to approve sections 4 and 5? So moved, Carole. Second, Maria. All in favor? Aye. All right, group 6 and 7. These are the resolutions, fees, and charges for facility use. Do I have a motion to approve groups 6 and 7?
So moved.
So moved. Linda, second. Carole, all in favor? Aye. And then we have groups 8 through 11. This is salaries and other actions for the district for the 24-25 school year. May I have a motion to approve groups 8 through 11? So moved. Maria, second. Linda, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that takes us through those. It's a lot of pages tonight. All right, this is where we will welcome Mr. Nespeka, right? We have a special award this evening.
Thank you very much for allowing me to attend this
Of
meeting.
course.
New York State School Boards Association caught wind of a very, very nice award given to one of our teachers here in Webster, representing the entire state of New York. So I said, we need to do something, and they agreed wholeheartedly. So Dan, we understand that you received a Teacher of the Year award from the Crumble Cookie organization. Please come up front here.
And Tom, we're just going to make sure your microphone's on too, because
It's
I
on.
think
It's on.
it is
It's
on.
on, but-
It is.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, there we go. So we
There
can
we
just
go.
move that
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Thank you,
Mr.
Dan.
Graff, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
actually, let's have
Appreciate
come on up.
Yeah, have everybody come on
100%.
up.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Danielle. Appreciate that. And there we go.
And we just wanted to recognize your accomplishment that was recognized by Crumble. There was 6,000 entrants that were one from each state was selected. Dan was selected from New York State. And New York State School Boards Association, we want to present you with the Crystal Apple and say thank you very much for your efforts for the children, ongoing. Without the teachers, we can't do it. Thank you. God bless.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Dan.
Thank you for your commitment and service to the children of New York State.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's
Yeah,
awesome, Mr.
beautiful.
Graff.
Nice job.
Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it very much.
And we've also invited his partner in crime at State Road Elementary. And Danielle, I know you're going to say a few words, but just to introduce, the two of them are a dynamic duo. They really are. They represent the two of our phys ed teachers from State Road. And one of the things that I've always noticed when I walk into State Road is what they do with kids is always paramount. But what they do together and as a team and how they operate as a team is equally as important to all of us, and it really does have an impact on the kids and on the building. So I'm going to turn things over now to Danielle to say a few more words about Dan.
Okay, so I'm going to try not to cry here
I
because
know.
he has been my only partner for the last 17 years, and I've worked very closely
you
with
need
him.
it.
I know. And I've learned so much from him, and he's, we do balance each other so well. And one thing that he always says is work's not work when you enjoy what you do. And he definitely enjoys what he does. And when you see him walking down the halls, you hear him before you see him. Mostly singing and rhyming, and the kids love coming towards him because of how welcome he is with kids and how much he loves kids. And actually, I found out, too, that I wasn't the only one that nominated him, but also a parent as well and one of our students. So we both thought that he got it, and I think that's what was the icing on the cookie, I guess, for that. So it's been an honor working with you, and you deserve it. So,
Congratulations.
It's been right now, it's 28 years here at Webster that I've been working, and it has been an honor to be with a district who aligns their essential skills with the things and values that I have as well, and our kids get it every single day. And this is one of ours. This is Austin Hildebrand, and him and I have become really, really close. And life's not been easy for all of us, and we just step up and know that we have each other, and that's what the Webster community is all about, and our essential skills. So it's very proud to have Austin with me here today and supporting me and actually putting me in for this great honor.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for all you guys do.
It's great. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Dan. Much appreciated.
One last thing from NYSBA, if I could.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, they're having that seminar webinar. I hope someone had a chance to sign up for it. It's good, because it's one of the few chances that we're getting. We're not putting any of the public hearings in our backyard for that the foundation aid reform. So this gives us a chance, and Bob Megna has met already with NYSBA 3 times, and tomorrow he's going to hear from board members and superintendents. So thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Actually, before Coach Graff goes, I also want to point out he was just recently named the All Greater Rochester Girls Track Coach of the Year.
Skip jumping in like a professional. I love it. He'll figure it out.
Heather spoke with him today too. So yeah.
Listen.
Oh, we got a minute? Yeah, I'm just giving you some. Thank you. No, this is.
And that brings us to the superintendent's campus news.
Yeah, I know it. Okay. And just before I begin my campus news, I just want to recognize Skip Kanicki is also in the back there. He's our new principal for State Road, and he's here supporting 2 of his teachers as well. So thanks for being here, Skip, and being a part of this. It's great to see you, too. All right. 24, 25.
Woo! Here we are.
First of all, I would love to congratulate and also thank both Jeff McCaffrey and Michele Lowe's for joining us at the Board of Education, and we really do appreciate both of you being here and the work that we have ahead of us. So thank you. Much appreciated. And then, before we begin the new year, I'm actually going to take a little bit of a flashback here to our graduations. So it was my personal honor to shake the hand of every Goal, Webster Schrader, and Webster Thomas graduate this year as they crossed the stage on commencement day. And it was a pleasure to greet all of those graduates district-wide, and we had a little over 650 that walked the stage in June. All 3 ceremonies were super meaningful, and I especially love seeing the smiles on the graduates' faces as they tossed up their cap at the end, and then as you walk around at the end after all of that has happened and you interact with families, it's one of the happiest moments that we have in Webster each year, and it's such a great, great thing. So congratulations again to the class of 2024, and here's just a few things to know about the class of 2024. We had about 2/3 earned a Regents diploma with honors or advanced designation out of our 650 plus kids, so that's huge. There were 81 students who earned the esteemed seal of biliteracy, which is something that we have been talking about at the board level for a couple of years. Last year, we were introduced at one of our information exchanges about the seal of civic readiness. Happy to report that 51 of our students graduated with that seal as well. And as they move on to life after graduation, we had about 65% of our class of 2024 that plan to enroll in a 4-year college, and about 20% that plan to attend a 2-year college. So about 85% are going off to 2 or 4 year, and the balance of them have reported that they'll be joining the workforce, pursuing career goals, and we also had this year 8 grads from Webster combined that will be serving our country in the armed services. So such an honor, and what What an esteemed group of graduates from our class of 2024. Impressive. And if you'd like to see any more of the amazing photos of our graduates or watch the high school commencement ceremonies, please visit the graduation news story on our website at websterschools.org. And again, a huge shout out to all of those that make graduation happy, our staff, our amazing staff that help our kids get across the stage. But congratulations to everyone. And that ends my report for the evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to board business with Mr. Freeman. And the room is cleared out. Look at that.
Starting the new fiscal
Starting the year off right.
So the first item on the agenda is the April Treasurer's Report. And I apologize, the wrong executive summary got put in with the right Treasurer's Report. Sometimes technology is not my friend when linking things together with the Google. But just a quick summary of the Treasurer's Report for everybody. Strong interest earnings again. We have strong cash flow right now, and just continuously trying to make the district as much investment funds as we possibly can, because we have never, in my 13 years, never had the ability like this with interest rates being above 5% on all of our investments. So we're trying to maximize our cash flow. Other than that, April is a pretty easy month. You know, March, we got a ton of state aid. Not a lot of revenue comes in April across the board, besides our school lunch reimbursements. So.
Okay. Are there any questions? All right, with that, can I have a motion to approve the April 2024 Treasurer's Report as presented? So moved, Carole. Second, Maria. All in favor? Aye. Estimated reserve transfers.
Yes, so as required by the State Education Department, as we close out the fiscal year before we get completely audited in the summertime in August, we have to do an estimate of where we think our reserves are going to be. So I really have a three-part memo for you of our reserves and what's our estimated transfer into those. Had some initial conversations with our auditors when they were out in May, but when they come back out in August and the books are wrapped up and closed, we'll have definite numbers. The one thing I want to point out on the first page is capital reserve is entirely funded. We cannot add any more dollars to that. The balance does grow because interest earnings can be added, just no dollars specifically earmarked for that. Just wanted to point that out. And then I also just gave you running balances that were unaudited as well, so you could see where we're at and what the purpose of each reserve fund is and what we're doing with it. And also as a reminder that capital reserve will lose $10 million somewhere in the next 18 months is when we're projected to spend that as part of the 2023 capital project.
Mm-hmm.
So just hypothetically then, a year from now, that will be below the max, and we could potentially build back into it.
Depend on the timing. It's probably not going to be till 25, 26.
Right,
So
okay.
you won't see that come off
Yeah.
until like the 26, 27 when
Right.
we're going through that. So that's why it all depends on the timing of.
But generally speaking, we start, as soon as we diminish that, that's when we will begin to start to kind of
Build it back
try to
up.
build it back up a little bit.
No, we can't,
Oh,
because we'll need to redo it in 2027. We'll need a new proposition.
oh, the prop, okay.
Every 10
Oh, right.
years,
Yeah, yeah,
because it has to be in essence, every
Okay,
capital.
so it's 27.
Every capital reserve gets closed, and then a new proposition has to go up with a set amount and the 10-year time period to be approved.
Then we can start building. after
Correct.
Proposition, okay.
Yep.
That's right, yep, that's clear.
And then the last bit of information, I just wanted to, for everybody to show where we rank compared to Monroe County. I hid the districts, although it is public information, A through P, and highlighted Webster, where we rank 14 out of 17. Obviously, the two BOCES would make 19, but they have way different rules when it comes to reserves. So I removed them. And the middle column on the third page is the percent of total fund balance compared to expenditures. So think of every dollar we spend, what's the percent that you have reserved? So you can see district number 1 has 109% of their expenditures in reserves. So they have a matching dollar for every dollar they spend in a savings account. And then you can see it goes down from there. And we are at 30% towards the bottom of the county, 14th rank. So generally in the 30s is, you know, a nice place to be when compared to your expenses. So
Why?
why?
Why? I mean, I think I know why, but I just wonder. There's a question people always ask me. Why is everybody sitting around with all that money?
Right. No.
Right,
And
yeah,
that's
that's
the
a,
question I
Yep,
get asked,
yep.
and I tell them to call you.
Good answer.
and that's perfect.
Great question.
So
But I think we should say it out loud.
So part of, you know, I refer back to the second page of what each reserve is dedicated for. So there's variance between districts. You know, like some districts pay cash for all their capital projects. We do a combination capital reserve plus borrowing. So our capital reserve max was 15 million. There are districts that have maxes of 75 million.
Okay, that's.
So their cash structure could look, their reserve structure could look a little different because of the way they finance capital projects. We have probably one of the higher tax surcharge reserves in comparison, if you break it all down to other districts, because we have, you know, about 28 ongoing tax surcharge cases right now. I think we're number one, maybe number two now with the total amount of cases behind Rush Henrietta. So we have some commercial, we have a decent amount of commercial properties, and those are the usually ones that get challenged. So there is that nuance with everything, but the comptroller, you know, I would love it in my world, because we asked that, and I asked that the last time they came out to audit us. What is the magic number? And they will never give you a magic number. So they kind of hint around what it is, and it's, you know, generally somewhere in that 30% range, but they'll still find a reason, even in that range, to say you're doing something wrong, because that's in essence their job when it comes to that.
Thank you.
But Carole, I'm glad you asked that question, because this past year, we heard the governor, and that came out of the governor's mouth too, which was, we're looking at school districts that have a lot of cash funded, you know, in their
Right.
reserves. And I think what we're trying to highlight is that I think we're in a good ballpark right here, right where we are. We're not extreme, but there are many districts in the state that are more like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
Right.
across the state. I think that's kind of who we're targeting than we are, than us, but.
Right.
I think it's important
Yeah.
for people to realize.
Correct.
Thank you.
That's good. Any other questions? All right, with that, can I have a motion to approve the 24-25 estimated reserve transfers? So moved, Linda. Second, Maria. All in favor? Aye. School physician.
Next up, yeah, no changes to this school physician agreement, just the dates have changed. Same exact agreement as the previous 2 years with Dr. Callahan, so no changes there. She has agreed to work with us for another year,
Awesome.
much to our liking.
Definitely.
She's great. She's great.
All right, any other questions? Motion to approve the 24-25 school physician agreement. So moved, Carole. Second, Jeff. All in favor? Aye. Food service.
All right, and then this, I just threw a little overview together for everybody on the food service program, because it is going through some changes. We've had an audit, so I just want to give everybody an update, and I put some slides together here for everybody, just to, you know, take 5 minutes and kind of show you where we're at, because it is one of our largest programs and has its own budget for approval. So just want to give you a little update of what's going on. And so just a big thank you to our staff. They do a great job. We're actually fully staffed in food service right now. It's a great job by everybody there to one of the few areas I think where we could say we are fully staffed right now. So financial update, this is kind of glaring and shocking for closing out this fiscal year and looking back the previous 6 years of where we've been. Projecting for us to lose money, and we have to lose money in food service. Going back 2 fiscal years ago, we were cited as having too much fund balance. And all of that, you could tell, was generated 2021, 21, 22, when we had free meals for everybody. So we made, we got a significant influx of claims with the free meals, and so our funding streams went up. And so we had a pretty healthy balance for those 3 consecutive years. After you could see the 2 years prior to that, we were running a deficit. So now we have a planned deficit to address what the SED is saying is having too much money. So I just wanted to show you that right now of where we're at on the financial side. And then want to show you how we're doing with meals as well. So October is our benchmark month. I've always used October because it's a full month. There isn't a lot of holidays in October. We have one superintendent's conference day, and it's a longer month. So we have a lot of good data there in October. It's after the start of the school year. People are into a routine. So 23, 24, you can see on the elementary side, and this is just lunch data. This isn't breakfast included. This is just lunch. Our elementary lunch count has increased significantly over last year. Middle also went up, and high school also went up. And, you know, a lot of that, I think, has to do with we've changed the menus and have tried to attract more kids to it and freshen it up. And we're going to continue to do that. But if you go back all the way to 11, 12, we're still behind the what I call USDA rule changes. So those days when we had, you know, pizza that wasn't whole grain, when you had the Little Debbie snacks, some of those items. So I always like to use 11, 12 because that was the last year as a comparison data. And then I have the last few years in there. So we're getting some students to come back, which is a promising sign. Not in SED's eyes, because the more students that come back, the more money we'll make, and then they're going to get us again for that. But we have plans for that. So just a little data for everybody to kind of peruse over. And so what are some program changes we're going to do? Well, first, I want you guys to see this with our free and reduced rate history, going back to slightly above 10% in the 11% range, now to being about 27%. A little bit over 27, I think it's like 0.31. So we have seen an uptick in free and reduced rate history. A lot of that in the past couple of years is due to the systems. Our student management system and the school food service system, they are doing a much better job talking to all the state systems. So if there's a family on a program on the state system, they're beginning to link themselves up. So we're getting more up-to-date data on kids that would qualify for free and reduced versus, you know, going back 2009-10, chasing down paper applications. So the system itself is catching more kids because it is increased technologically wise. So we're seeing the bump there. Yeah, Maria.
So there are, forgive my ignorance, so families don't have to apply for free?
Correct. It's called direct cert benefits. So one of the most popular ones is if a family qualifies for Medicaid.
Okay.
So any Medicaid services in the house. Could be 1 kid out of 3. It could, all those students then are in the system and they automatically qualify for free and reduced. When that
reduced is more income-based.
It doesn't necessarily anymore have to be income-based because of that Medicaid rule. So if you qualify for a Medicaid service, your income doesn't matter. But you automatically go into that bucket. So when they made that change, that was a few years ago, we saw about a 5 to 7% increase in our free and reduced numbers just from that. So are they artificially inflated a touch? Yes, because we've never, you know, it's been very rare where, you know, a family with the means that is in there has reached out and said, well, we don't want the benefit.
Mm-hmm. So this is not a great indicator in terms of poverty for our district, in terms of us increasing?
I think to a certain extent, it's overinflated because of that. Mm-hmm. You know, it might be the best measure we have, but there is a certain level of inaccuracy in it for overall poverty numbers. I think there's other indicators that we could get from the state that might be more accurate than this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of programs that rely on this data for qualifications for certain kinds of funding. So that's why I asked the question.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no, that's right.
So a couple things for next year. We are required to spend down that fund balance. So we have started, actually over a year ago when we first started talking about this, put in to purchase a lot of new equipment that is arriving, some new ovens, some new dishwashers, but the lead time on those is 12 to 18 months for a lot of those. So this is an ongoing problem. This is a multi-year issue because we can't spend it fast enough with some of those things. So, that's why we probably would be in the same position again next year. Actually, today I just got our plan for this year somewhat approved because it is a multi-year issue and there's been some back and forth. So I linked pricing. We're going to keep prices for breakfast, lunch, and dinner flat, no increases. Dinner, breakfast, lunch, and snack. We're not going down the dinner road yet. Flat again, just to try to, draw more families in. Focusing on the menu, increasing. One of the things we're trying to do is add more locally sourced food. Because we already got audited, we're going to look to add more local vendors for things. So we have a deal right now with a local bakery on bread. Instead of buying, the Wonder Bread off the bid list. One of our most popular items is hot dogs. We're going to look to a local vendor for that as well. So things like that have some name recognition for families and kids that oh, that's cool that you guys are offering that. So more to come on that. We're trying real hard. One of the works to do this year for food service is that, free and reduced participation, since we are at about 27.5%. I broke down the numbers. I want to looked at that a little bit more in depth. That's 2,200 students that would qualify that are in the system. And so I took a look at breakfast data for the year, and we served just shy of 90,000 breakfasts for those qualifying. That is only under 25% of the eligible students accessing free breakfast. So when you think about that, only 25% of the kids that qualify are even participating. That's a real low number, and so I kind of want to make that a priority for next year. And so the data is showing us there's needs, but kids aren't accessing that part of the program, and so looking at solutions to get more students participating with the team.
So out of the 2,200, about a little over 500, you're saying?
Yeah, in essence,
the kids
that's
actually participated.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
So if you compare that to lunch, are those same kids doing lunch? And
Lunch is
breakfast?
lunch is a little higher.
Okay.
That's about a 50%. And when I looked at the data, breakfast was astoundingly low to me. So that's the area I wanted to really focus in on.
So that could be potentially a timing issue, maybe?
There's a lot of different things, unique things across the board. 11 different buildings, 11 different styles, 11 different, arrival times, and
Okay.
So we're going to look at all the things and what we could do and what makes sense on a, overall, if it's an elementary, middle, second, senior, high school issues, and just try to work and what can we do to get more kids participating in that.
Good.
Then I've also added for you guys the budget as a separate form. You'll see that on that budget adoption form, there is a planned deficit. The revenues do not match the expenditures, which is like, wow, that is budgeting 101, Brian. They're supposed to match, right? So one of the things that the state is approving is planned deficits. So we have a planned budgetary deficit to help reduce our fund balance. And that's one of the things we can do to adopt with that audit. So just a little update on the program, since it is the third largest program we run in the district.
That's awesome.
Thank
It's very helpful.
Yeah, thanks, Brad.
All right, with that, motion to approve the 24-25 food service budget. So moved, Linda. Second. Michele? Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
SRO.
And last for me this year is our school resource officer contract with the town of Webster. And no changes in this agreement this year as well.
That's awesome.
We're hoping to get 2?
Yes, that is always the,
Okay, the hope.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually have a meeting this month. Neil Flood and I meet with
Yep.
Chief and Captain Reed, the two of them, what did we say, biannually, right?
Yep.
Twice a year. I
Biannually,
can
yep.
remember how we said that whole monthly thing. And so that's coming up, and so
Okay.
I'll know more as we sit down with them.
Perfect.
Awesome.
That's been a great partnership.
Yep.
Yes,
Do we get to
definitely.
request who we want?
You know what, we don't. They have their own internal
Okay.
process.
Yeah,
for
they have
that
a
that we
posting
don't.
You probably have
process
a
for it.
post, yeah, like a
We
union.
we put together all the terms, and we agree on the terms part, and that's what Brian does.
Okay.
But then, yeah, we'll see where it goes.
All right, thank you.
All right. Motion to approve the SRO contract for 24-25. So moved, Jeff. Second, Carole. All in favor? Aye. All right, that brings us to the NYSBA conference. So this year is in New York City. Last year, a bunch of us went to it in Buffalo for a day. So it is helpful, I think, after you had a year or two of board service to go, it can be kind of overwhelming as you're still learning the process. But we wanted to open it up and see if anyone was interested in attending this year, and then we would have Heather start to look at making some plans. So just something to think about. I don't know, do we have to vote on it or just put it in everyone's head? That we're gonna go? So if there's interest in at least going, does that sound like something we can approve? Yeah?
Yes.
I mean, I know I'm interested. It was
Yep.
definitely very helpful
No,
last year.
I think a bunch of us are, so.
All right, so then I just need a motion to approve board members attending the annual conference in New York City, and we can work out the details at a later time. So moved, Linda. Second. Maria, all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. All right, board goals for 24-25. We looked at this a little bit last month in June at our last workshop. It is still redlined as a draft, so we're approving it as a draft tonight, and then we will look at it at the retreats over the summer and as we move into the school year in September. So as long as everyone is okay with this draft form to be looked at the rest of this summer, questions? Does that make sense? Okay.
One comment?
Go ahead.
We actually had a chance today to also, just so you guys know, we're having our administrative retreats today and tomorrow here above us on the second floor, PDC, and we actually had a chance to show that to our leadership team and let them know, not only the changes that we've made, but a little bit about the process too, because for us, we got to remember, we've got some new administrators and some new teachers on special assignment that are part of that team, so it's always helpful that they know that overall process, and it went well. So thank you to Larry, Eric, Aaron, and team that all made it happen.
I do like that collaborative process. I think it's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
helpful. It's nice to know that we're all on the same
All moving
page
in
and
the
on
same-
board.
yeah, all
Yes,
rowing
it's
in the same
awesome.
direction. It's great.
All right, motion to approve the draft 24-25 board goals. So moved. Carole, second. Michele, all in favor? Aye. All right, that brings us to the consent agenda. We talked about this a little bit earlier. That's where we approve everything all under one vote. So if everyone's had a chance to scroll through in the consent agenda, are there any questions about anything in there? Bagel bids and pizza and the fun stuff. It's Craglio's again. I'm happy about that. All right, then with that, a motion to approve the consent agenda. So moved, Linda. Second. Maria, all in favor? Aye. All right, that brings us to public speaking. Seeing as though there's nobody in the audience, then there are no speakers, which brings us then to adjourning the meeting. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Carole? Second? Maria, all in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.